So talk to us a little bit about Elekes, the necklaces, and also the Ide bracelets.
Okay, it's a great topic, great subject.
Yeah.
Um, Ileges means necklace.
Okay.
Collares, you'll hear. Ide, bracelet. So that's what it is. It's the necklaces that receive in the Lukumi tradition. Or Nisheshe, when you receive an Orisha, you receive, typically, even in Lukumi, if you receive an Orisha, you'll get an Ileke that comes along with that. Okay. Typically, the Ide is Ide Ifa, that comes from a Babalawo. And in Lukumi, you don't have to get crowned, have your Gocha ceremony done to receive Ilekas. And why you receive them is because you are getting, you are taking a step towards the Orishas. You are taking a step in this tradition. You are leveling up. You are receiving the energy of these Orishas that it can kind of give you a more tangible protection. All those beads were blessed and the necklaces were blessed, and the only way that they can be consecrated is through an initiation, birthing process of a new priest.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Okay. There's being blessed. There's being consecrated.
What's the difference?
You know, somebody will bless them. And all who blesses them is up to you. Some botanicas and some places will sell them, pray on them, put some cigar smoke on them, and tell you got the necklace of Obatala or Rumila. Some Olorisha priests will take them and feed the Orishas for the ceremony. They'll take the Orishas and put the necklaces in there. The new ones are going to leave, and they'll feed them the appropriate birds. Those are considered blessed, in my opinion, but they're not consecrated correctly. To carry the Orisha is when there's a birthing ceremony. Isalaye, the Orisha is coming down. And birth, when someone became new, Orisha became new, and those are Ileges were fed the appropriate sacrifices and herbs and prayed upon in that birthing ceremony of a crowning or of a yoko ocha. And that's when those necklaces are done. And that's why they're so powerful. And that's why they're so much needed. But the thing is that that's who can give them. Only an Olorisha who gives you those necklaces of the Orishas. Not a Babalawo. A Babalawo will give you a Orisha of his Ifa Orishas, like Orumila, maybe Odudua, Osayin. But those can come, they should and need and only can come from an Olorisha. Santero, Santera, Iworo, not Babalawo. And it has to be done in the crowning ceremony, in my opinion. And then they are given to you and saved, and then they're given to anybody who wants to receive them. And there is a process for that. There is a ceremony for that is done. Typically, it can be done all in one day. Because everything that was done to consecrate him was done way beforehand. And then the person comes and receives him that day. Now, the person who gives him to you, again, has to be an Olorisha. And this person will become your godfather or godmother, and become your godparent, and become the one who's officiate, your elder, and it becomes a promise out of respect. Not an obligatory contract, but a promise that you want to receive, and you go to initiation. Is the one who got you birthed and one who got you started. Usually is the one that will get you, unless there's a problem. If there's a problem with that elder, you better make the decision before you actually crown, because once you crown, there's nothing else that you can have another elder after that. You can switch elders, you can do that, but it's not the same as someone who initiated you on your head. So that's why it's very, very, very important to take your time and choose the right person that will give you your Ilekes, because someone that you feel comfortable with them to guide you and eventually be the crowning. Now, when it comes to Orumila Ideifa, I've seen different concepts of understandings of how to receive the Eleke Orumila Ideifa. Some say it only happens in an Ikofa ceremony or Hand-Ifa ceremony. That's the only time you get it, and that's the only time you should get it. And so some say that's the only time you get the Garnarisha reveal during that time. In my house, the way we've been doing it for a very, very long time with my elder and his elders before him, some of the very famous, some of the first olofistas that come to the United States, we come from that line. Mm-hmm. That Orunmila, first of all, those beads, the necklaces of Orunmila, have to be fed in Orunmila, in a birthing ceremony. Yeah. That's one. The ides, the bracelets of Orunmila, or the beads that we use to make an ide, a bracelet, or the beads that we use to make a necklace, have to become from a birthing ceremony in Orunmila. Right. Okay. Then those beads and necklaces can be given to a person without having to receive. Everyone has a right to have the protection of Orunmila with a necklace. It's no different. You don't have to receive that initiation or receive the ikofas. No different than someone who goes and receives the ilekes without having to crown. You can also receive your ide and the necklace without having to go through that initiation ceremony. I've had many people come to me and bring their babies to me, and we put the ide on them, and we put the bracelet, and it has saved their life. Yes. I've had people who had them before their hand of ifa, and many stories. One lady, I gave it to her and her family, her and her two daughters. They didn't receive nothing else, and really weren't really practicing in the religion, but they got readings from me for like about 8 years, 6 years, and they got the day father asked what it was about. They said they'd seen it. I told them, educated about it. They wanted, I gave it to her and her kids. Mm-hmm. I remember she had came. She was going through a really, really bad time. There was a lot of bad stuff going around. Let me not put her business out there, but it was really, really bad. Mm-hmm. I told her, I noticed that the ones were not on her kids anymore. And I said, you need to, let's replace them. They don't have them. So I put it back on her two children, and she put it back on hers as well. They had broken like years ago. And she had found me again, and I noticed, let's give you some protection. So, okay. And then don't see her. About 4 months later, she comes for an updated reading and tells me, man, it's like I had a lot of stuff going on. My daughter's ide broke. She had a baby. This was their baby. The baby was in a carrier in the car. And someone stole her car with the baby inside. The bracelet had broken, I believe, at that time. And they took the car with the baby. I guess the guy saw that the baby was in the car and parked the car down the block from her and got out and left the car, and then the baby was fine. Wow. Worse than that, the mother comes and tells me, I also saw her bracelet was missing again 5 months later. And I said, what happened? She said, man, like, you don't understand what happened to me. I went in for a UTI, an infection, and they put me on a table, and they did an operation, and it was fine. They didn't have to cut off my bracelet. It was okay. She says, I went in for another infection again. And this time, they had to cut it. She goes, we have to cut this before you go in. And she's like, well, I figured it was taking something bad away, whatever. She says, I died on the table. Oh, yeah. I even went, I said, the whole clear up. She goes, yes. My heart stopped beating. They had to bring me back to life. Yeah. And I've seen another guy. He was had his Ideifa, and it was this one was witchcraft. This was really, really, really bad. I mean, these people are open about it. We're attacking you, we're going to kill you, type of thing. And I said, don't worry. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let's just clean you, do a remedy. He had his Ide. And so a week after I gave him the Ide and did his remedy, he was working at a factory on a forklift. And he says that there was a 5-ton pallet. True story. He said his bracelet broke as he was doing it. He's like, what the heck? And he says 10 seconds later, the machine malfunctioned and fell down the pallet on top of him, but it hit a bar, and he was able to get out the way and slam to the ground. Wow. True story. Now, they didn't have the whole hand to be fought and everything else, but they had the protection. Everybody has a right to be protected.
Yeah. Yes. So what is the actual purpose of the bracelet? Like,
good question. Yeah. The Ide Ifa literally protects you from Iku until God calls you.
Iku.
Iku is death. So when death comes for you, sometimes death can take people before their time.
Okay.
Death can be, there's a whole story behind it. At the end of the day, in the Ogbefun and Ochefu, the Ide Ifa will protect your life because the power of Orumila over Iku, death. And Orumila will know your destiny when it's your time. And he will protect you until then. So if it breaks, any necklace, when they break, it's taking something bad away and or giving you a warning. You could just get a replacement, or you can get an osode, which means a reading on it and find out what happened.
Okay.
That's what that is for. And everybody, in my opinion, should have one properly consecrated, properly given to you by Babalawo with the appropriate prayers and put on you. And everybody in my temple, my house, have them, whether or not they have warriors or Ikofa or not. That's the way we do it. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But I've seen with my own eyes and experiences of reality of how it's made a difference in people's lives. Many stories like that. Many, 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 many stories like that. So that's what it is. And that's who Babalawo is the only one who can give you those bracelets and consecrate them. The necklaces are for your... People just wear them and don't really realize what they have there. Each Orisha carries those energies. You should be praying. You should be in your own words. You should be talking to your Orishas. You should be blessing. You should be praying. The bead itself, the etymology of the word bead means prayer. So at the end of the day, you do have prayers around your neck. Utilize your prayer and your invocation and your connection and your calling out to your Orishas to help you be the best person you need to be within the realm of those Orishas and those energies, whether it be love, calmness, patience, strength, durability, all of that you need to have. And that's what you're wearing around your neck to remind you and protect you of those areas for things that are out of your control. The Orishas are here to bring balance, and it's a way for them to tangibly connect with you at a different level, to intermediary of between you become a Orisha or consecrated priest.